Planning a wedding comes with timelines, trends, expectations, and a whole lot that couples never see coming. We're two wedding planners pulling back the curtain on what really happens behind I Do. Each week on Behind I Do, we bring you real talk about real weddings, timelines, trends, the wins, and the what ifs. From the smooth as silk celebrations to the did that actually just happen moments, we're sharing the stories, lessons, and insider knowledge that help couples plan with confidence and maybe even laugh along the way. Whether you're a bride, groom, vendor, or wedding lover at heart, this is your backstage pass to the world of weddings, told candidly, graciously, and with the expertise only seasoned planners can offer. Grab your coffee, your planning binder, and your confetti, and join us behind I Do.
Okay, here we are.
Here we are, episode 12, mixing business and friendship. The risk of hiring friends as your vendors.
One of our favorite hot topics is when we're meeting with our couples for the first time and we're going through their initial call and we're like, who did you hire for, or have you hired ex vendors? They're like, one of our best friends is a DJ. We always panic a little bit inside.
Always. My heart always drops a little. Or maybe not drops. Maybe it skyrockets my blood pressure.
Just a slight panic. Or we have friends that are florists, or we hear it all the time. And it's not always bad.
Yes, it's not always bad, but it's not always good.
It raises some concerns for us on the planning side. And it's definitely something we like to talk through with people and really make sure they understand what they got themselves into. We understand what type of vendor to expect, because we have everything from we're hiring our friend as a DJ, and then we find out he's like one of our top recommended DJ friends.
Yeah, and we're like, oh yay,
that's great. Or we're hiring our friend as a DJ, and
he's like a club DJ, and
he DJs for Dirty Little Roddy's on the weekend. You're like, okay.
The dance party's going to be great. However, the emceeing part's going to be very stressful.
Does he know how to talk on a microphone?
Yes.
In a way that you want. So those are always questions that we have. It kind of just puts some red flags up that we want to make sure we walk through before your wedding day. So we wanted to talk about that today.
Yeah, we'll just kind of dive through. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of our couples, when they like want to hire a friend, I mean, there's obviously good reasoning. It's like, they trust them, they know them, they have a relationship with them. It already feels like comfortable. So like we get that. Or it could be like a budget constraint. So like, because, they can't afford like a super expensive photographer, but their friend does it and does a pretty good job and is going to do it for like a discount or whatever, or a favor to their wedding. I mean, I think those are like common reasons. Or like, even like they really want to support their friend's business. And like, that's like, we totally understand all of those reasons. Like, they're valid reasons. They're just going to be a lot of like hidden risks within there. And I think that's where it's like diving through those just to make sure, like Ali said, you're kind of aware of it and like think through it and just kind of have those like tough conversations with them in the beginning and make sure everything's like out in the open. I think it can work.
Totally can work. Just setting those expectations, because I think it's easy to kind of assume a lot with friendships. And even, I feel like we did this with our poor officiant, who's like one of our best friends. And I feel like it was like 4 weeks before the wedding. And he was like, are we going to meet? And like, what am I supposed to do? And it's
your
like,
wedding.
Oh yeah. With my own wedding. Cause I was like, oh, I don't know.
He'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. Or you just kind of assume that everything's going to work out, or I do as a person in general.
Again, B type.
Very B type. So I feel like that can happen really easily. And obviously with an officiant, it was a little easier to course correct 4 weeks prior. But if it's a florist and they haven't put in their wholesale like order for your flowers,
right,
and you're now 4 weeks from the wedding, like you're
making all these changes or assumptions.
Totally, yeah. Like your budget probably isn't going to be like where it was supposed to be, because now all these florals are so expensive. So there's just things that you want to be able to do before.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, some other like the hidden risks, I think that's again kind of like those blurred boundaries of like, friend versus being professional. And I think it's hard because we've had people in our lives who have hired us that we've known, I mean, outside of our business. And so again, we appreciate all the reasons why they hired us, but there is that like, you have to like, from our standpoint, you have to like treat them just like another couple. Obviously it's going to be slightly different, but like your professionalism should be the same.
Yes.
In our opinion, it's like, you are still a business. Like you want to like work with your friend, but there should still have that like boundary. Cause I think too, like Allie can attest to, we both have had friends or people like acquaintances that have hired us, and that boundary has been blurred and it just like, which is fine, but it's just also like, I mean, we did so much. Like it almost was like, again, that expectation, like that there wasn't a clear expectation. It was like, we just were doing so much for so little. And it's not that we regret doing it for that person, but I think that's just like having those clear expectations. You know, I'm a professional. This is how I do things. And not just like having like, again, those blurred boundaries of like, what are you going to do for me? What are you not going to do for me? Just like lay it out there.
Yeah. And like starting it off on the right foot with like a contract and still do the inquiry call, even though I know how you got engaged. And I know that you've booked all these people because we're friends, obviously. Yeah. And you've told me like in outside of work lines, like in your, in our lives. But I think it's good to hold everyone to the same standard, make sure everyone has the same, you know, we put everyone on aisle planner. We organize everyone that way. I even was thinking it's like best, we have a business line, like texting everything to the business line if it's wedding related, and then texting to my personal number if it's personal, just to help kind of keep it clear.
Yeah, I agree. And just like, again, kind of like we said, having those hard conversations, because I think sometimes when it is your friend, you kind of do avoid some of those hard conversations just because you don't want to like offend your friend or whatever. But I think as like the couple, like you should have those same conversations with your friend or as you would like any other vendor, because you want to make sure that everything that you're like hiring these vendors for is going to get executed exactly how you want it. So like avoiding those hard conversations is honestly only going to like make it harder.
Yeah.
So it's like
for you in the long run.
Right. But it can be kind of weird when you have this like passive, like, you know, like, or they're, you know, your friend that you've hired to be your DJ or photographer or whatever isn't like meeting your expectations leading up to, or like they haven't reached out and you haven't, like, you don't really know what's going on. You're just going to start getting frustrated, which is then going to cause more stress for the day of, and then tension between you guys. So it's like just really trying to communicate as much as possible, just like you would with any of your other vendors, I think is important. But I mean, again, there is that fear of like, you don't want to like ruffle feathers with your friend.
Yeah. Or ask too much, or that's, I always feel like people say like, sorry to bother you. And it's like, no, you're not bothering me. Like, this is my job. This is what you hired me for. You can always reach out. Don't ever feel like,
okay, it's total tangent, but if any like vendor makes you feel like you're bugging them, like get rid of them. Like that, like when our brides ever say it to me, I'm like, absolutely not. Like, even if I'm not like your full plan, I mean, granted, there's a line here. Let's be clear on that. But I never want our brides to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for like reaching out and asking you a question. It's like, or like sometimes even brides on like Sundays, like, I know I don't want to make you work on a Sunday, but I just had a quick question. Like that to me is
24/7.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And
I'm
on
like,
vacation, the same thing. They're like, I know you're out of town. It's like, I appreciate that you're so sweet and respectful, because some people aren't, but we're always available and we're always working. Like,
especially as your planner, I feel like it should be someone that you feel safe going to all the time, no matter what time or day it is. Granted, I mean, like I said, there should be boundaries. And if you know your planner's on vacation, give them grace and be like, okay, like
respond to this when you get back.
Yeah. Like I just wanted to send this out because it's in my brain, but like, I don't know, any vendor that makes you feel like you should be sorry for reaching out. That bothers me. Anyway, sorry.
Another thing that we kind of run into a lot, I think, with this like friender line is expecting more for less, and kind of like booking your lowest package, but hoping you get the high end deal,
or hoping that they'll give you a discount because they're your friend. It's just kind of awkward. And I think from a vendor standpoint, it is awkward because like again, we've had people in our outside life hire us, and it is awkward. Like you want to give them a discount, but at the same time, it's like, I also hope that people who know us outside of wedding planning know that we are like really good at what we do. So they should want to pay us for what like we're worth, you know what I mean? So it's like it's awkward.
It is so awkward. And it's a hard line because I see both sides. Like, you know, we do have best friends that are vendors too. And it's like, yeah, I'd love to get that photography service for free.
Totally.
Like, but then at the same time, you also want to pay them because you know that they're the best at what they do. And so you're also like so happy to just pay for it. So I think it's hard. I think this is where it's like paying, like in your contract, like in your very beginning, and you start with that like payment discussion, like especially what's the clear, like, do you want full payment? Is there something you'd want to like maybe trade for, like if you guys were both vendors, or like
as the vendor, what would you be willing
like
to
services
do?
Or, you know.
But I think as a couple, like you shouldn't go in expecting
a discount. Yeah. I think it sets it off on a really awkward.
Yeah. I mean, And I think too, it's hard too, because I feel like then if your vendor friend chooses to not give you a discount, like I don't feel like you should be upset about it. However, on the flip side of that, then I think you should maybe then consider looking at 2 to 3 other vendors in that area and like just look at price point and be like, you know, I mean, I don't think that's unfair, but I mean, it's just a hard, like Ali said, I see both sides. I understand we've given people discounts. I mean, that was when we had a business coach, but because we've been told discounts are bad, but you know, we still do it. Like, so I get like, and I think too, it also depends on who it is. Like sometimes, you know, there's like family or something that it's like, obviously we're going to work a little more, or we usually throw our decor in for free, 'cause it's like an easier thing that you can use any of our decor, and that's kind of makes it a little easier. But yeah, just really have those clear
conversations early. And I think too, a little bit of a tangent, but also like there's a point in your planning where maybe before you interview them, or even at that point where you're like, do I want them at my wedding as a friend, or do I want them at my wedding as a vendor? Because it's hard to do both. And I think that's like an important distinction. And potentially if you get to this point where you're like, well, they're not really giving me a discount, like I also like so-and-so's work and they're $2,000 cheaper, like it actually maybe be more fun to have them and have my friend photographer just be at the wedding and like get to be present at a wedding for the summer. And so I think too, there's room for all of it. And like, we've been guests at weddings and it's so fun. And we're so grateful that we just got to be a guest. And we didn't have to,
which I'd
plan
rather
your wedding and, you know, do it all.
Or like, even we had a couple that did, like, they had one photographer that was like a friend, like photograph, I can't talk, their like rehearsal dinner. Like, so they still were like using them, like their services and getting photos from them. But then on the wedding day, they hired, like Alice said, another photographer that they liked, so that their friend could actually be present and not be working at the wedding. So there are some fun things, ways to kind of incorporate them. Or we've even had some where that same friend like then isn't the main photographer for the day, but brought her camera and got some like candids, or like, you know, still did things. So I think there's some ways to kind of
marry the two together. So it's not like all or nothing, and you don't feel like that awkward. Like, well, I didn't hire you. Because that can be kind of weird too.
So and I think, I don't know, again, things that can make it kind of weird is just like if things do kind of go wrong, it's like between you and this said friender is like, it is more personal because you know them so well, and it's going to make personal life awkward. So like, let's say like they're late on delivering your photos, or, you know, they were your florist, but they like didn't bring, you know, the boutonnieres because there was that miscommunication, like, or something. Like, it's going to feel a lot more, it's going to have more impact on you, I feel like, because you have that personal connection. And then like the next time you see them after your wedding, it's like, there's going to be that
you won't forget about.
Like it's just going to be awkward. So, I mean, that's just things to like, again, think about, and having that like lingering, you know, resentment now with this friend, and it could affect your friendship. And so again, I mean, they don't all go bad like that, but I just think those are things to like really think about. Again, kind of, I think, and making sure you're doing all these things can kind of, having these conversations before can help eliminate some of that. But again, those are just things that can go wrong, that we've seen go wrong. And, you know, you just should be aware of it, I suppose.
Some of our, and like we said kind of at the beginning, we mostly see it with DJs. Like sometimes it is like a lack of like a DJ having enough equipment, or like the confidence of a DJ to like speak throughout your event. And we've had to step in and speak and be the MC for the night, which gives us anxiety. And it's like, no, and it just leads to like a weird, like for your guests, because they're like, oh, like, was that Like what went wrong?
Right.
Or if their equipment like fails and like it's like glitching out. And
Which has
like
happened.
they didn't practice with it because it's just your friend and like they just have these like microphones that they use.
You know,
like
they
once
went and
a year.
rented speakers from somewhere or I mean, the other big thing we see a lot too is they then like, because they're your friend, they're drinking, which again, that could be a whole other tangent. Like we are very against drinking at a wedding. Like I mean, there's been one, I will admit, but it was like a good friend of a friend and they would not leave me alone. And it was the end of the night and I like took one shot with them, but it's like, we're very like hardcore. Like we do not drink like if the police get called or something happens, like we have to be
the responsible, like sober people that knew what happened the entire night.
Right. And
can account for your property and your belongings at the end of the night when you guys have left and you've left your $2,000 wedding dress at the venue.
Which has happened.
We are in charge of that.
We have to make sure getting it to you, which again, I mean, some of that pressure that we have on us isn't every vendor doesn't have, which we totally understand that. Like the DJ and the photographer and the florist, like they're not in charge of all of that. So we understand that. But I just think again, that blurring that line of like professional versus like friend. And if they're drinking, again, like the things that you've committed to or like agreed to with each other, and then your DJ friend starts drinking and then things get missed or like, you know, and then as a vendor, it's hard because then you're trying to communicate and like make sure all these things are happening, but your DJ's had 5 drinks and you're just like, you know, so it can maybe not necessarily cause issues that the couple sees, but it can like cause issues with like your vendors who are kind of getting frustrated because your DJ's hammered.
Yeah.
Or you can't find your photographer because she's at the bar talking to Aunt Susie and you're like, no, like I need you over here so we can get this candid moment or whatever it is.
Yeah. And this goes back to kind of like, do you want them at your wedding as a guest or do you want them at your wedding as a vendor? And like kind of drawing that line in the sand or like making it super clear. Kind of like Jane said, like if it's a photographer that's a friend, like maybe they're shooting the ceremony because like that was super important to you, but like after that, you're just like, I don't really care about the shots for the rest of the night. Let's have her second shooter take over and then she can like drink and dance and eat dinner with us and have fun. So like there's ways to divide it. Or like I think it's really nice if you want to, like Jane said, support someone's business, involve them in your wedding, like hiring them for like tasks that aren't like specifically at the wedding. So they could make all your signage or they could make your wedding cake and bring it to the wedding. Like that's great. They can drink and have as much fun as they want. Like your wedding cake's done.
Yeah.
So using them for hair and makeup or just something that's earlier in the day that doesn't impact the actual like guest flow of events and all of your, like Jen said, like if you wanted to have a first dance with your dad and like your DJ gets so busy, like, and he forgets that, like you can never get that back.
Yeah.
So
true.
Making sure you like use it sparingly and figure out a good game plan going into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think all in all, when it can work, it can be, like I said, we've had experiences where it's a good experience.
It's not all favorites.
Yeah. It's not all negative, but again, it's like both parties are treating it like a true, like business transaction. Like, yes, we are friends, but like, you know, we have clear contracts and expectation. Like this is our contract. Like Ali said, like we go through the same process of this is how I book my clients. And just like really communicating and just like, you know, you can still have that friendship and those communication styles you guys have, but just really making it clear that this is like a business thing. This is professional. You know, we can still have conversations outside of like our planning conversations, but like when we're talking about your shot list or the songs you want to play at your wedding, like that, we need to try to be as like professional as possible. I think that really makes it work a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And having designated times to plan or to meet with people that aren't like, oh yeah, we're going to see our DJ this weekend at this concert, you know, like the concert we're going to on Saturday night. So we'll ask him about it then.
Or we like back to the officiant thing. I think that is probably the most common friend, which truly that, I mean, we recommend that. Like that is like the vendor that should
know you the best.
Yeah, that should know you the best and makes the ceremony just feel very like safe. And so like that vendor usually is like a family friend or family or whatever. So, but just like, again, they'll be like, yeah, we're all having like family dinner at a restaurant. We'll kind of chit chat. And it's like, I always am like, no, you need to call Grandpa Ted and like actually sit down, just the three of you, like an
Paper, pen.
Yes. And actually go through like what you want and like stay focused and just get through it. And then go out to family dinner or whatever it is. Like, just like really trying to make it as, again, professional as possible.
Yeah.
I think just makes it go smoother.
Yeah. Like we said, setting it up like a real, just as any other inquiry that came in, like have the initial, for us, it's an initial call. It's setting you up with your planner and introducing you to your planner, having a initial meeting with your planner and like going through all the steps, collecting payment, like all the things that we do, just treating it 100% like you would any other client.
Like a defined process. Like this is what we do with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which people love. And I feel like it's more so your friends that are always like, wow, you're so organized. Or like, thank you so much like for doing that. And it's like, you're welcome. But like, this is my job. This is what we do.
Yeah,
But
this is how we do it. Yeah.
it definitely always helps. I think people feel more comfortable too when when you show the professionalism above the friendship. They're like, oh my gosh, you actually know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Because then they're not going to regret. I mean, you're
Hiring
not.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
So yeah, and I think again, just having those hard conversations early, like, you know, I value our friendship, but like, you know, I am a professional and like, and I think too on both sides, like couple and the vendor, like giving each other permission to have like honest feedback with each other, or, you know, be like, I haven't heard from you in a couple weeks and I would really love to like meet and like have a conversation about stuff. So I think, and again, yeah, being comfortable on both sides of getting that feedback and trying not to take it personal.
Yeah, letting them know like, hey, and if this isn't what you like, I feel like too, this comes into play with us. Like when you send out a mood board or you're recommending a certain color of linen or this, and you're like, I think this would look really great, or I feel like you'd love this. It's harder at that point for client to be like, that's not really what I want because they think that you love it. And it's like, it's like offending your family. And so it's harder, I think, in that situation.
And again, I think that's, I mean, tangents all day long, but again, especially like planner wise, it's like nice. Like I think we've talked about it many times before, like not having your planner be a friend, because again, like you can give your honest, like, no, I don't like that mood board you just sent over. And it's like, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Like this is your wedding. Like if you don't like it, like let's change it.
So the vendors were like really keen on being like, please tell us. You're not going to hurt our feelings. Yeah. We won't take it personally. Like we need to know what you want.
But if it's like, you know, like say it was, like my sister, my best friend or whatever, and they're like, I don't like what you just put together. Like I could see where it could get a little personal. Yeah. And again, depending on, because like the way my sister and I are with each other, the way she would tell me, I would probably like, well, bite me. Like, do you know how hard I worked on that? Like, it's just, so I think again, depending on who it is, but like for us, it is so important. And I feel like it should be with your planner or coordinator that you are able to be honest and be like, no, I don't like that, and not get offended, and your planner not get offended. Like it should be like an open door thing. So I think just really making sure that those hard conversations are had. And again, another big thing I think that can like do it the right way and make it work is like, again, we said, don't assume discounts. Like go in just saying like this is like, I want to work with you. Like, you know, what's it going to look like? Send me a contract, that kind of thing. And just like respecting their pricing, just like you would anybody else. Like, and again, if their pricing, you really, I guess, were hoping for a discount and they don't give it to you, like being okay with telling them like, well, really, like you're a little out of budget. So I think unfortunately we're going to go with whatever. I'm like being okay with that.
Totally.
But, yeah. And I think just, again, which Allie kind of touched about it, like the communication channels, like, are you texting as friends or are you emailing? Like how, like what's the most professional like way to keep it separate? Like if you guys normally text all the time as friends, maybe just email each other. Maybe decide, let's keep wedding stuff in email. We'll only talk about wedding stuff in email. Easier. Yeah. And so then it's just like separate, or like Allie said, like we have a business line. So like we only text our couples with our business line. And then if you want to talk about personal stuff, text my personal one. I think just helps keep it clean. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like there's so many times I go back and look at previous conversations to figure out what we
Yeah.
had said about what time we're starting or, you know,
Where we're meeting today.
Where we're meeting, totally. Like so many things. So it's helpful to have that like always be business related and then be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I can look in this other app.
And I think for us, which it's a little different for us, but because there's 3 of us owners and we have a team, it's nice. I mean, two things. It's nice. Like, for example, if I go on vacation for 2 weeks and like, you know, because I'm actually going here in a couple weeks and the bride is like, well, like when you're gone, like who do I get a hold of? And I was like, well, luckily when you text the business line, it goes to all 3 of us owners. So there is that little bit of like, say I got sick or like I'm out of town and the bride can't get a hold of me, at least like our business line, somebody could pick up and like
answer
take off
questions
from there
easily.
And I think too, for us also, it's kind of nice that we can like our employees, like we can see when they're like texting couples and just kind of being on top of it. But it's also a different little tangent again, but
super helpful. So yeah, things we want to watch out for when we're booking frienders are like if people don't want to do a contract, they're just like, yeah, no, we'll be there. We'll be there on your wedding day. Like, don't worry about it.
worst nightmare. Even like vendors, like real vendors. Like we have couples all the time like, yeah, like I hired this hair and makeup gal, but she doesn't have a contract. And I'm like, what do you mean she doesn't have a contract? Like that should be a red flag across the board. If they don't have a contract, I don't know about that. Like,
and even say it's your great aunt who like really wants to make your wedding cake.
Yeah.
Even having a written email that you can screenshot to me and I can put into Aisle Planner that says like, hey, Aunt Mary, we really want a vanilla cream 2-tier wedding cake with red raspberries on it.
right.
Just like something that's like, and
written.
she responds back and she's like, oh my gosh, yes, what time should I bring it? And you say, my planner wants you to have it at the venue by 1 p.m. Like that is like contractually fine with a family member. Like something that just is clear and concise communication. And that way we're not like, oh wait, did you tell her what flavor you wanted or when to bring it? Or is she going to just bring it at 4 when all the guests arrive and we've already done all the photos? Like, so just, it doesn't have to be the most like legally binding contract.
Yeah. With some of those like situations for sure. It's like, but just, some sort of written documentation. I mean, the other vendors, I don't know. That just makes me so
other vendors
nervous.
I would totally
like hair and makeup, photography, DJ, catering, like if they don't show up, like I mean, coordinator, planner, like that is a huge, I don't know. That's where it would just be a little sticky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, as I guess if you decided to hire your friend who's a DJ, again, as long as they had like written emails that shows that like, yes, I'm going to be there. Yes, I'm going to do all these things. But.
And like, especially with a DJ too, almost all like professional DJs basically have like a DJ form that you fill out and it's either a Google Doc or something similar that goes through like, what's your processional song? What's the lineup? Like all of that kind of stuff. Something like that you need with any DJ, professional or not, because they need to know what cues they're going to start playing songs on and like all of that. So even if it's your best friend, you still need that written document that explains what they're going to be doing.
With songs and all that.
Yeah, shows them all that. So I don't know if it has to be like a total like we have a legally binding contract that our lawyer has written for you to sign. That's the best case scenario. But if it's not that good, at least make sure it's something written.
Yes.
That we can follow through.
Yes.
And make sure it's good.
Yes. Other red flags like vague pricing and like what they're actually delivering or giving you. So I think that can be like, again, just having that clear expectation of like, what is the cost? What are they doing for you? Having it just be like clear. And if it's not clear, I mean, that's like can cause like so many issues.
Yeah. Like even if they're giving you a $2,000 discount, but they're still giving you their, whatever they call it, tier 1 package, like make sure that's like very clear. Like you're only paying for my lowest package, but I am giving you the highest level of service. Right. And like that's what to expect from me.
Yes. That's like, again, like we've done that with friends or family or whatever in the past. And it's like we still have them sign like our full plan contract, but then like it's clear that their pricing is like
different. Than normal.
Yeah. Just if they're feeling very hesitant to speak up, like, or just like, I think the big thing here is like if they feel very like hesitant on like their capabilities. I think that is like would make me nervous. It's like, sure, I want to support my friend, but she doesn't seem very confident in like what she does. Like,
Or she's not that organized, but I hope it all works out.
yeah,
Don't.
it's not worth.
Don't, like, do
because
that to
again, you
yourself.
think you're going to ruin the friendship in the beginning, but it's really what's going to ruin the friendship is the process and like
A year of stressing out if they're going to show up on your wedding day or
Yeah.
not. That will ruin.
and that again that
it
built
for
up
you.
resentment of like now every time I see you, I'm just going to be pissed that you know you didn't do X, Y, and Z, or you were so unorganized. It made me so stressed out. So I think those are just like super big red flags. Yeah, and just again, I mean, we've kind of talked a lot. Another one is just those blurred boundaries, like just really making sure it's clear of what they're providing, what they're not providing. This is professional, but then we can still go to lunch together and be friends. But just trying to keep it as clear and concise as possible.
Business as possible. Yeah, and just remember that like it's such a hiring your vendors. We've talked how many vendor conversations have we had already on this podcast? It's such a huge. It makes or breaks your wedding day truly, and if you want to have that like dreamy, ideal, you know,
Smooth.
stress-free, smooth, whatever you want to call it, wedding day where you're on cloud nine, like this is where it starts, like hiring the right vendors that you feel 100% confident about. And so it's super important to start your wedding
Yeah.
off there and hire a vendor that you love, trust, respect, like fully. And if you're not feeling that with your friender, like don't start it off on a bad foot
Right.
in the beginning. It's not going to get any better.
And honestly, if you don't feel confident, I mean, you decide not to hire them, and then let's say they get upset, that friend that's a vendor gets upset with you, well, maybe that's a red flag of them being a friend. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't, I mean, I think that's like we say, about all our vendors. Like, you should have conversations with all your vendors, like Allie was saying, and trust all of them. And it's like, if you don't feel that, like, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience for you and truthfully and selfishly for your vendors. So, like your other vendors who are like actual professionals who are just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
And it puts more weight on, I think we kind of touched on that earlier, but it does, if you just have a friend who's a DJ, that's our easiest example, that doesn't really know what he's doing, like it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the wedding team the whole day, because we are now not only doing our jobs, but we're also doing the job of a full-time DJ and like cueing them and emceeing for them and helping them transition and helping them move their equipment sometimes, like doing things that we typically wouldn't do. So it's best to not
agreed.
do that to your other vendors.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just final takeaways. I just think really, like we said, try to go through these steps of keeping it as professional as possible, having these hard conversations, and just if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Like there's other things that you could do for your friends. Like say it's a photographer, like maybe instead of hiring for your wedding, they do your engagement photos. Like I think there's other routes, or like say your friend's a planner, but she just, you're very A type and she's kind of B type, and it stresses you out, or you want her to be at your wedding and not planning it. So then have her plan like your engagement party or your rehearsal dinner, and then hire someone for the day. Like there are other options to still support your friend in their business, but not actually have to have that stress
on the day of your wedding.
Yeah.
And like we said, can be so much more fun to have them at your wedding. And like, that's like a compliment to us too. Like
when I don't have to work wedding.
Yeah. When I don't have to work a wedding, it's like,
I get to dance.
Yeah. So it's not bad. And we don't take it like personally if you choose a different planning.
But again, that's, depends on the friendship and, or having those actual hard conversations of like deciding what's going to be best for both parties. So again, it can be great. We've had vendors that are friends to couples and it's a great situation. It works out great. And then we've had some that are absolutely terrible. So I think it's just, again, going through it, having those open communication conversations with each other and just doing what feels right, I think will help you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Booking those frienders.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.